Hello everyone, welcome to EWM session 6. My name is Hari Krishna Erransetti. Today we are going to see the process of Putaway with value added services in EWM and using POSC, process oriented storage control. In our previous sessions, the highlighted ones in green color, we have seen the relevant videos have been uploaded into YouTube already. So if someone wants to know or explore about these processes, you can have a look at them. So as part of the today's session, we will see what is value added services and how we are going to construct that or execute that process in EWM. I mean, generally speaking, value added services is there are various processes of value added services also. For example, on the outbound side, when we receive the order from the customer may have different requirements when they order the product. They will ask for some specialized services like specialized packing, or in case of a production environment, they might ask to do some kind of oiling, greasing of some automobile kind of products or any kind of assembling products. They might ask for the special services from the ordering company. uh, there are various scenarios involved in this, and in case of packaging material, if we use auxiliary materials, so those auxiliary materials we can make it part of inventory. And also the value added services will be tracked through a separate order. That means in EWM, when the value added services, in order to work with value added services, there will be a value added services order created, and whatever the specialized services requested by the customer, we will be performing using that particular order. So we will also track the times taken for that particular service, and we can also charge back to customer for performing that additional service. So right now, even when we are right now, the process we are doing is inbound process. So while receiving the product inside the warehouse, we may do the specialized repacking requirements, and then we will store. Like when the customer orders, without performing the specialized packing at that point of time, uh, we will make the special packing requirements while receiving the products itself, and then we will store the product in our warehouse, and then when the customer orders, we will dispatch that product without unpacking or without performing any additional value added services. That is one example. And also we have the pick to stock and pick to order services, processes are there. Right now we are seeing the simple process of performing the value added services during the inbound process, wherein we will capture the packaging material consumption and the start and end times for that value added services activity. So when it comes to the transactional and master data requirements, at the process point of view, there is no much change. Purchase order creation, and then it remains the same, like we have seen the POSC with the deconsolidation process. So the process remains the same, like the unloading activity and then the value added services step and final put away step. So process point of view, we will see the same, and there will be no change in that. And even the configuration point of view also, as we have seen in other processes, we have to make all the dependent storage type search and storage section search, and the WPT determination, the work center related settings, like for the deconsolidation we have defined the work center, and that work center we have assigned inside the work center we assign the external step, which is our POSC step related to VAS we have assigned. And what is additional in this process is related to value added services. There are some configuration settings and the master data settings related to value added services. So those settings we need to do. That means defining of the number range and some services, value added services order document we need to activate, and then we need to activate the value added services relevance. That means what it means is when the value added services document has to be created, it is when the inbound delivery reach or warehouse request document is created in EWM, or maybe at later point of time when the warehouse task confirmation screen. So depending on our requirement or the business requirement, we can change this creation. And also the packaging specifications for the value added services, we need to maintain the packaging specifications for that material. And then when after that, when the inbound delivery is created in EWM, that packaging specification will determine and it does the packing as per the settings that we have maintained. So and the master data settings and the bin relevant settings, all those must be there, must be existing as default. So now, before we start the transactional data, before we execute the transactional data, we will briefly look into the settings that are needed for the value added services in PWM. Okay, so I'll quickly go through the settings that are required for the value added services. So all those settings we will see. For example, I'll quickly go through the WPT confirmation first. Okay, so WPT confirmation point of view, here I'm seeing that there is a process determination control indicator V1 I maintain. For that, my WPT is G113. And if you go inside the G113, so inside G113 I have maintained the storage process of YI05. So now we will also look at YI05 storage process settings, how we have maintained, how we need to be maintained. So this is the storage process YI05, and inside that I have maintained as unloading value added services and final putaway step. And then next thing is I have my process step says that I'm sorry, this one. And when my unloading is completed, based on my unloading status completion, start the value added services. So this is my POS setting. And when we are good with this, we need to also check the work center settings. So the work center settings here maintained as YVAS. So for YVAS, we have maintained the external step. We are good with that. And then, so the last thing comes up here is packing specifications also there, but we are not seeing them in detail because in the previous session we have seen all those settings in detail. So now we will look at the value added services configuration settings. So the number ranges we need to define, and this is order management. Now in this case I have activated, but in case if someone is doing for the first time, they need to activate this. All the backend tables, all the document type related settings will be activated when we are doing for the first time. Okay, so once we are good with this is the setting we are talking about, like when a VAS order has to be created. So this is my document type and data type for the inbound delivery, and I am telling the system that create the VAS order when the warehouse request document is created in EWM or at the goods receipt posting. So, or do not create automatically. So these are the different settings for the VAS order creation. And this product group we will see Generally these product groups are required to link with the master data. So these settings you will maintain in SCM basis. So in SCM basis, if you go into the master data product, there are two things that we need to maintain: product group and product group type. So it is like easily definable. There is no template. So for the VAS, I defined it as VS, and for this VS, we need to link the product group as VAS1. So once we define these two, now we have seen here. When we go into the VAS number dependent settings, here for my VAS number range, I have assigned this product group type. Okay, so the product group type I have assigned here, and in the VAS relevance also I have assigned the product group as VAS1. So now this VAS1 and the one we have seen VS, we will assign to our global product master also. So I think these are the main important settings that we need to know with respect to value added services. Now some of the master data settings also we will see. The first thing we need to look at is the packaging specification slash PSC case PEC. So now here the material I am taking is this one. So now we will see the specifications maintained for this material. So it is like again same thing for the palette. I have maintained two pieces. So that means when we are receiving this product, you pack the two pieces of this material into this packaging material. Okay, so now condition record point of view for this, when the condition type for value added services is 0VSI. So here I am telling the system that for this condition and for this product you perform this packaging specification. So we are good with this, and then next SAP APO material global data we need to look at, because whatever the product group and product type that we have defined in the configuration settings, we will link here. So this is how our material properties will be copied to here. All the link will be established here, and if you want to see, we will also look at the EWM product, wherein we assign the warehouse process determination indicator. So we can see this indicator is assigned, and also Putaway control indicator, based on which system will identify the final Putaway bin. So there is one more setting I think we missed, is what is the transaction? Yeah, this one. So what is our value added services bin? So there should be a bin, right? So we didn't see that bin. We'll briefly, quickly look at that bin as well. So here if you see for my YVAS, the bin should be there. This is also an important setting. Now we are good with all the settings. Let's proceed with the transactional data steps. Creating the purchase order for my material P3, taking today's date and the quantity as 2 only. So simple examples we are taking and saving the purchase order. So my purchase order is created. Now let's proceed to create the inbound delivery. So we don't need to look at anything here, straight away save it. Okay, my inbound delivery is created and distributed to EWM system. So the number is ending with 702. Now let's go to EWM transaction PRDI, and then enter the inbound delivery number here. Okay, all good. So several things we need to observe here. The first thing is, based since my warehouse process determination indicator is different, I see the different WPT determined here. That is step number 1. And the step number 2, I have defined the packaging specifications, and depending on the packaging specifications I define, my product has been packed into handling unit automatically. And the most important thing here, we are trying to focus on the, or trying to look at the process of value added services, and my value added services document, uh, we can observe in the item level it is created with the number 4041. So in the configuration settings, I have told the system to create the value added services during the warehouse request document creation. So we need to remember this. This is the document number 4041. We will see it subsequent steps. Okay, so now so far we are good. So now we will go ahead and create the warehouse task for this first document. So WPT is this, and the storage process YI05, everything looks good. So let's proceed to create the warehouse task. We can see bottom 2 warehouse task created. Now let's go to the warehouse monitor. Refresh the screen. You can see that these two warehouse tasks. The first one is open, and it is going from the door to the unloading area, and my final warehouse task would be to Y021. So now we will go by step by step. Let's proceed to confirm this first warehouse task. It should also perform the goods receipt. We can see bottom goods receipt also must have been executed. Based on the handling unit number, we can see this is the one confirmed ending with 11682. So for this 11682, we can see the last entry. Goods receipt is got posted. And the second thing we need to observe here is the warehouse task related to the value added services is open, and it is going from the unloading area to the VAS work center, VAS bin that we have defined. So we will confirm this warehouse task. The final putaway task will not open now, it will still remain in waiting status. So now we will proceed to perform the value added services activity. So the transaction to perform the value added services activity is slash SWM slash VAS EXEC. So we'll go to this transaction, we will enter our work center that we have defined, and you can execute directly. So based on our handling unit number, we will trace out our value added services. It is like 11 ending with 11682. So this is our handling unit, for which we need to perform whatever the service we want to do. Here we need to enter our value added services number, value added services order number, and then click on execute. There will be a separate some activities that which we need to perform will be activated. So here what I am saying is, I'm just starting this service, and I'll just capture how much time it took for performing this entire activity. And in the other tabs we can see the packaging material. This is the packaging material I am consuming for this for performing this value added services activity. So in case if you want to make this if this is a value item, and if you want to make it the consumption relevant, so we may need to perform like some 1 or 2 additional steps. By doing that, if we have the inventory for this material, we can also consume the packaging material that we have actually consumed as part of this value added services activity. So this is for just for information purpose. Now we are not doing this. So anyone wants to explore, just look at those options and then you can play with that. Now I am just starting this activity, so it is in progress. Now I have completed this activity and I am just entering like how much quantity or how much quantity of the packaging material or the I have consumed. So here we can see one quantity and then I'll enter without reference, without any variances. That means we can here select like without any deviations and without variations. The status is completed now and we can also capture the effort. So once this activity is completed, complete and save it. So we can see that whatever the activity that is completed, it will show in the bottom like this. Okay, looks like we have saved it already. So now let's go back to our monitor and see the moment we refresh, this particular activity should come to active. So I have confirmed the final Putaway task and then now even the stock category also, stock type also should be changed from F1 to F2. So now our whole activity is completed. Now the only thing remaining is to check the statuses of the documents both in EWM and in ECC. All completed. We can see the PPF actions, all the PPF actions triggered, and also we can see at the bottom all the value added services related. What are all the activities we have performed, what are all the documents generated, all that we can see. Now let's look at the EWM, I mean ECC phone delivery. So first I want to look at the document flow. All good, handling unit, goods receipt, and then the transfer posting. And the status point of view also we can see that all the statuses are updated as needed. So with this, the process of the value-added services using in the during the Putaway process using the PVAC process is complete. Hope this particular process has given enough information or idea of how we execute it in EWM system. Keep watching this space for more videos. I think so. Let's mark this topic as complete for today, and then sorry. So I think I selected. Okay, so let's mark it as complete. So now with this, I think we have seen the deconsolidation, we have seen the value-added services, we have seen, I mean, all these are POSC related, and we have also seen how we use the package specification. I think we are good with the inbound process. So now let's jump into the outbound process. So from next topic onwards, we will see the various outbound processes that we have it in EWM. Thank you and have a good day.